You can invest in single family homes and flip them. You can invest in single family homes and rent them. You can invest in multifamily. I found the advantages to multifamily are that you've got scalability, works in any market cycle. You can sell out, you can buy at the bottom, you can hold all the way through. There's just all kinds of advantages to multifamily that you don't have as easily in single family. It's a little bit.
All right, let's shift a little bit, Brian. Let's talk about different real estate asset classes. This is discussion all the time. What's the best real estate investing asset class? And I'm gonna get a really good perspective from you because you've done so many things, right? There are single family flips and rentals. There's short-term rentals. There's co-living, pad splits. Then of course there's commercial, multifamily, self-storage. Right. And so the question really is, which one is the best one? And maybe the answer is, well, it depends. It depends on the market, it depends on the person. Maybe you can talk about some of the different kinds of asset classes that you've done. And you've done them, obviously, you got started into the asset class at one point, and then you scaled some of them as well. But talk about the different asset classes and kind of compare and contrast.
So I think I think I read the other day, there's like somewhere around 40,000 publicly traded stocks on the stock market. And amongst all of that, these variety of stocks are in a various different industries, right? Some of them are healthcare stocks. You have some that are, manufacturing, automotive. I mean, there's all these different categories of publicly traded stock. And if somebody were to ask, well, which one is the best one? What would any financial advisor say? They would say that each one has its pluses and minuses, and you should probably try to diversify your portfolio to invest across different asset or different segments of the market so that you have exposure that when one really goes up, then your portfolio benefits. And when one really goes down, you have other things to offset that. And I think real estate works a lot in the same way, where that there's a variety of different types of real estate. Uh, I'll go through some of the ones that I've done in my 35 years in this business, starting from the most basic, which is just plain dirt, an empty lot, that you can buy vacant land. You can buy vacant land to land bank. You can buy vacant land for agriculture purposes. You can buy vacant land to subdivide and build homes on that could be rented or sold. You could build apartment buildings, hotels, shopping centers, industrial sites. There's all sorts of different stuff you can do with vacant land. So there's literally like hundreds of different strategies and ways to approach just that one asset class of vacant land. And then, now let's talk about things with buildings on it. I mean, you've got things from uh, self-storage, apartments, office buildings, shopping centers, strip malls, mobile home parks, RV parks, marinas, manufacturing sites, industrial, warehouse, storage. The list just goes on and on and on. Single family homes, that's one that everybody's pretty familiar with because everybody's got a single family home. So there's a lot of different ways to invest in real estate, and there's pros and cons to each of them. And we don't have enough time in our lives to probably even understand all the pros and cons of every asset class and every strategy within every asset class. So what I found in my career and in this business, I've done vacant land, I've done single family, I've done self-storage, I've done hospitality, single family, multifamily. Yeah, I think I hit most of it. Vacant land, subdivisions. I've done all those different things. And what I found was I was really good at multifamily. And I think it's because I started in this business as a house flipper. That's a residential strategy. I knew residential strategies really well. I live in a home, so obviously I'm very familiar with all aspects of a home, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why, like the retail investor, and when I say retail investor, I'm talking about passive investors that invest in syndications. I'm talking about mom and pop landlords. That type of investor gravitates toward the residential asset class because it's familiar to them. And so that's a very good reason to be in that asset class. So, residential has the benefit of being familiar. It has the benefit of being widely used and needed, and is one of the basic elements of human life is for, food and shelter. And shelter is extraordinarily important, and everybody understands that. So that, I think, is one of the biggest things, that the biggest advantages of residential real estate, is that it's familiar and it's necessary. And there's different ways to approach this, right? You can invest in single family homes and flip them. You can invest in single family homes and rent them. You can invest in multifamily. I found the advantages to multifamily are that you've got scalability. You've got it works in any market cycle, because you can move markets, you can sell out, you can buy at the bottom, you can hold all the way through if you've got the staying power and the right capital structure. You can, sell out of one market and buy into another market where it's working better. There's just all kinds of advantages to multifamily that you don't have as easily in single family. It's a little bit harder to say, I'm going to sell all my single family homes in California. I'm going to start buying a few in Texas, Georgia, New York, and all these other things, and to have to manage this diverse portfolio of like a single family home. It's only worth a couple $100,000, not worth the effort and the travel. So I think out of all the different asset classes, residential is the most widely accepted by most people. Now, there's advantages to investing in, say, industrial, for example, because when manufacturing is on the rise, and right now warehousing is a big thing, right? As you start to like lose the retail experience in favor of the online transaction experience, and that means you need more warehousing for distribution centers, and that creates demand in that sector. But a lot of people don't understand that sector very well, and that's a disadvantage. Land has a disadvantage of producing no income. So, that can be troublesome for people if you don't have the ability to service debt or pay the property taxes, because you have to use other sources of income to do that. Hospitality can be very cyclical, where, travel is really strong, hospitality does well, then travel is very weak, hospitality does crappy. Imagine being in hospitality during COVID. It was not a fun place to be. And then, oddly enough, housing became extraordinarily profitable at the same moment. So I think there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to every type of asset class, and you have to invest in what's comfortable to you. And I think you should also get exposure to a variety of asset classes, so that you're not putting all of your portfolio into only one strategy.